What if the key to your success, happiness, and freedom is to ignore everything that everybody else has ever said? Does that sound crazy? Like, does that sound completely ridiculous? But what if, right? What if? What if you tried that? What if you did an experiment for a day, even for an hour, maybe for a month or for a year? What if you just completely ignored everything that everybody else is telling you to do? So when I say like ignore everything that everybody is saying, I don't mean, completely discount people and, hurt their feelings and walk all over them. Like, I don't mean that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, listen when people talk and listen when people are sharing their feelings with you, right? And consider them, of course. Like, I'm saying this to people because I know that you're not going to take this the wrong way, right? I more mean, constantly everybody is telling you in one way or the other, right? How to do your eyebrows, right? How to be spiritual, how to get a job, how to be a content creator, like how do you do this and how do that. Everything is coming at you all of the time, in ways that are very obvious and overt, and also ways that are very subtle, and easy to miss, and even ways that are kind of insidious, right? All day, every day, everybody is telling you something. So that's when you want to stop and assess, like, how has that been working for you, right? How has that been working for you? How often have you followed someone else's advice and it just didn't work out, right? And this is the funny thing, right? This is the funny thing. It's not about other people giving bad advice. Other people could be giving like awesome advice, right? Like people could be, oh yeah, I think you should do this because it worked for me. Like, I had the exact same problem as you and I did all of these things and this is what worked for me. So why don't you try that? And then you go and try it and it just like doesn't work for you, right? And this happens all the time with, people who teach manifestation, people who teach, getting rich, and healing, everything, right? Everything. And I'm not even saying that any of that advice is bad, although of course, some of it will be bad advice, but it's not about the advice being bad or wrong. A lot of it is probably good advice, and of course, a lot of it is really well meant. So you don't have to be all like, everybody is dumb and everyone's giving me bad advice. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how there comes a point where the ideas and the guidance and the advice that you get from others, at some point it just becomes irrelevant to you, right? At some point it is simply irrelevant, and you get to a point in your life where you simply have to go your own way. You simply need to find what works for your own archetype, for your own preferences, for your own skills, and for your own energy, for your own soul. And it really is a kind of graduation moment where you realize, oh, like, yeah, before I was, learning what others had to teach. And, you will probably still learn what others have to teach, but you'll be doing it in a different way. You'll be very selective. You'll be looking for the ideas that you're looking for, You won't just be copying and pasting what other people are saying. You'll be filtering and gleaning and just kind of taking in the inspiration as you find it. So it's a different way of operating. And that's why I kind of say you might need to start by simply chucking everything out the window. In fact, I remember in my first semester of university, my critical thinking professor, in a philosophy class said, okay, to a bunch of 17 and 8-year-olds, we were fresh out of high school. He said, okay, kids, take everything you thought you knew and throw it out the window because I am here to teach you how to think. And of course, in that example, we, all the kids in that class, we had a lot to learn still. We were definitely in learning from the teacher type of mode, but it's that spirit of sometimes you reach the next level of your experience and you kind of have to toss everything out the window that you thought you knew before. Everything, that you were taught in high school, everything that your parents taught you. Sometimes you just need to toss it all out and start fresh. So that is why I kind of propose a little bit of an experiment here. Again, try it for an hour, a day, a month, a year. What if you just erase it all? And what if you just ignore everything anyone is telling you? So next time you have an idea, of how you're going to run your business, don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to any of those YouTubers or influencers, or don't read any of those books, right? Just completely follow your own instincts and experiment, right? This is very experimental because you're not going to know what's going to work. You have to follow your own instincts. And, next time you're putting an outfit together, don't think about your outfit, right? Don't think about the rules of fashion. Just wear what makes you feel like you are expressing yourself most authentically. And I would propose trying that in all life areas, right? Although, of course, you could, if you're just wanting to experiment with the experiment, you could stick with just one life area at first, right? Something fairly innocuous, perhaps like how you dress, right? And once you see how that makes you feel, you could expand this to other life areas. So I guess I do see the how this is a little bit funny because, of course, I'm kind of telling you what to do. I'm giving you an idea and you are deciding to run with it. And that is a little bit, doesn't quite line up with the spirit of the experiment. But I think if this is going to work for you, it's not even going to be really me giving you the idea. You're not going to be doing this because I told you to do it. You're going to try this experiment because you were probably already thinking it. Maybe you hadn't quite articulated it to yourself quite yet, but you were already thinking along these lines. And then as soon as you heard me say, what if you just ignored everything that anybody has ever said to you, that just kind of clicked inside of you and you're like, oh yeah, like that was the idea I was trying to like articulate to myself. Yeah, that's what I have been like meaning to get to. And that just made it click. So that method there of kind of allowing external ideas to just click pieces that are already inside of you into place, that'll be the new way of kind of gleaning ideas from others. Rather than copying and pasting what other people are saying, you'll just wait for the information, the data that comes in from the outside. You will allow that to just kind of connect the dots inside of you. And then you go, oh yeah, that was actually my idea. I just heard somebody say that and it made it click inside of me. And that's how I know that's going to be something that I want to explore for myself. So happy experimenting.